Good afternoon, everyone. It's about ready here. I was going to give people a couple more minutes to show up, but um, in the effort to save everybody their day here, I will go ahead and get started. So thank you for attending. I am Ashley. This is a mini webinar. So most of you I know have been really good about attending the webinars this year, and we've tried to kind of structure them a little bit different and do mini webinars kind of in between our bigger webinars to kind of highlight and address some things. So as most of you know, these are very short, 10 to 15 minutes, and it's just more so to make sure that everybody knows what's going on and I don't hopefully take too much of your time. So we will go ahead and get started. It is that time of year. We're starting to kind of really get our organization here with year end and the updates and what that means for our clients so that we can help give the information to you in enough time to get us what we need. So this is that time of year where we really like to work together with our clients to make sure that we're not missing things, you're not missing things. It goes into the new year a lot cleaner and smoother. So this is kind of to go over what we mean by updates. And then next week's webinar, which I believe is at the end of this, it'll give information on it. But next week's webinar, we'll go over the checklist. So we will provide a checklist to our clients every year that goes over, good information. What do you need to have ready? What do you need to give to Journey? And every client will get that, and I'll make sure it's in the handouts next week as well. But every client gets that, and it's just for you to be able to physically check off, the things that we've kind of asked and made sure that we're all on the same page for. So with that, we'll get started here. What do we mean by year-end updates? Updates are essentially any changes that would need to appear correctly on reports and paperwork. Anything that's happened this year. And that applies to every area, employees, company, reporting. We want to make sure that what we're pumping out of our system is exactly what you guys need for your CPA, for your audits, and then for your company records. So everything needs to be correct. That is a huge thing for us. We are only as good as the information given and put in, so we want to make sure that we're hitting proactively on the front end to get that stuff turned in. Friday, December 13th, and again, this will be in the information we send out, but it's good to make note that Friday, December 13th is the final day to submit updates to Journey for the year. That gives us about a month to get things turned around and into us. And again, I'll have that handout for you next week, but just make sure to make note of that, circle that on your calendar. That's going to be the day that we need to make sure all updates are turned in. As all of you know, part of our service is to file your reports quarterly, year end. We do that on your behalf, which is great. It relieves a lot of the stress for you, but we need help making sure that all of the information that we have is correct so that we can make sure those reports are done timely. Company changes. So anything for the company, what do we mean by updates? Company basic information. If you had a address change, if your legal name changed, if your DBA name changed, we need all of that in our system. We need to have copies and records of that. Company address is huge. That's what appears to all of your employees on their W-2s. An incorrect address can result in a return or delay of W-2s, meaning the deadline will end up getting missed. So any changes to the basic structure of your company address is probably the number one. And then obviously legal name, DBA. If any of that changed, please let us know. You will receive in the mail copies of any frequency changes for rates or deposits. So unemployment starts sending out rates this time of year for any unemployment rate changes for 2020. It is absolutely crucial that we get those into our office. You can't rely on us getting a copy of it. We do ask that if you get a copy, it's always best to just send it. If we have it already, great. If not, it's super important to make sure we have that in our system so that we can get that change made and reporting and what we're pulling is accurate. Same for deposit changes. If the IRS but the IRS decides to change your deposit schedule, it's always important that we know that as well. Late deposits mean penalties and interest, and we want to keep that from happening. And then manual checks. So if you have issued any manual checks outside of payroll to employees, we need to know of those. I know all of our clients are so good about remembering to get those turned in, but some can slip through the cracks. We forget we write them. So it's super vital that we have that information in our office so that we can update our records and make sure that what we're spitting out on W-2s and reports is correct. Employee changes. So we all know that our employees can go into their hub accounts and they can make changes to their W-4, their address, their direct deposit, which is great. But we need to make sure that we as employers push that information out to our clients or our employees. Did you have a change in your address? If we're sending out W-2s and we have an incorrect address, it's just going to mean that the W-2 gets returned. That can delay your employees the ability to go file their taxes. And so it's important to make sure that they understand how important it is to have their records updated in Hub. So again, push them to go to the Hub. If you take those changes and you make them as an admin, totally fine. Make sure you get that in writing though. If they're changing their elections on their W-4, have them fill out a new W-4. If they're changing their direct deposit, have them fill out a new direct deposit form. If they're changing their address, I'd go ahead and have them send that via email or have that in writing so that you can make sure it's accurate. Let's see, we went through this. Social Security numbers. This is another really big one. Incorrect Social Security numbers can be a huge mess for everybody. It's not just the employee, it's not just the employer, it's us as well. So let's make sure that if anybody has, have them check their pay stubs. It's on their pay stub when they get their pay stub. Have them double check it. If anything is incorrect, they need to let us know ASAP. Holidays. This is the time of year where holidays come. Schedules, it just feels like the months get cut in half because of those holidays. So with them approaching, keep in mind some closures that will affect payroll, and it will affect not only check dates, but when you need to submit payroll. And work with your payroll specialist on that. If you feel like you can't make a deadline or there's, your pay period ends, and because of when it ends, you're not sure that you'll be able to make the deadline, just let us know. It's so much easier to give us a heads up on that than to wait until the last minute. Obviously, we have Thanksgiving Day. We are closed. Banks are closed. So there's nothing to be done on those days. Day after Thanksgiving, we will be closing at 12, and we always follow our ACH processing bank on these closures, so nothing else can be processed after 12, the day after Thanksgiving anyways. And again, like I said, keep in mind that next week's webinar will go over processing times, submission dates, and all that stuff, deadlines for when we'll need that stuff turned in. And then Christmas Eve, we will close at 12. Again, our processing bank closes at 12 as well, so no files will be able to be sent that day after 12. And so we'll go ahead and close early to allow our staff time with their family. And then Christmas Day, same thing, Journey and banks are closed. You can go to our website. The link on the slide right now is our website with our FAQ, and when is my payroll due. This will give you all the information on our closures, our submission deadlines, when you need to have your payroll turned in. And so if you're anxious about that now, go to that website. Otherwise, like I said, next Thursday's webinar at 1 o'clock, we'll go over the checklist. The checklist will be in the handouts, so everybody will have a copy of that. And then we will email those out digitally and via mail as well. So don't forget to be sure you attend that webinar next week. And that wraps it up. So like I said, short and sweet. We just wanted to more so go over, what we mean by updates. And so please make sure you're paying attention to all of that, because it does, again, it really does affect payroll. And every year we try to get this stuff out sooner and sooner to our clients to give you guys, a respectful amount of time to get that turned in. But as quickly as you can get updates turned in, the better. So please don't hesitate to get those sent in ASAP. And as always, if you guys have questions, please don't hesitate to reach out to me. My contact info is on the screen. Otherwise, reach out to your payroll specialist. They have all of this information and then some, and would be happy to help you guys out. I hope you guys have a great rest of your day. Weather is beautiful here in Colorado. Hopefully it's beautiful where you are. But yeah, well, I'll let you guys all get back to your day. Have a great day. Have a great weekend. We'll talk to you guys next week.